every year I come to the BIFAs or the BIFA nominations, and I'm shocked every year at just the quality and level of movies that are made on a kind of independent budget in around the world. I mean, do you still feel surprised when you see sort of the wealth of talent and made on quite limited resources?
Britain has got a reputation for taking a little and making it much. Britain also has a reputation for giving birth to so many talented filmmakers, musicians, artists, and all across the cultural thing. And yes, I'm always surprised but delighted to see the list as I did here today. And I look forward to the list next year. The other thing about BIFA, and the reason we do BIFA, is because, you know, that first year of BIFA we had people like Chris Nolan, Edgar Wright, Guy Ritchie, and they're sitting at a table over there, no one knew who they were. And of course now everyone does. Now, why we do BIFA is because had we not done that 20 years ago, the chances are those three amazingly talented filmmakers, British, would still be sitting at that table over there and no one would know who they are. That's why we do BIFA, to shine a spotlight. This year we've had an amazing number of films submitted, 350 plus. We have a screening committee, whole rigorous voting and selection process to come down to the ones you saw here today too. But remember too that these are the top 5 in each category, and right below that there's another 5 or even 10. And for some reason they didn't tick the judges' boxes, but that's the way it goes. But there's so much talent here.
You were speaking obviously about those filmmakers that were sat around that table those years ago, and just standing right next to you now is sort of Hayley, who won last year. I mean, do you feel an element, as such a champion of independent cinema and British independent cinema, do you feel an element of pride when you do see these people go on to gain such success in their career, as though you kind of in some way sort of helped them on their way?
Oh, of course I feel pride, and Hayley thanked me this morning for what I did last year, and I did nothing really. I mean, the jury did it. And then this summer I bumped into Jamie Bell in the street, and he thanked me for Billy Elliot all those years ago, like 18 years ago. And yeah, that's great. But, you know, it's not about me, not about ego. All I do with the amazing team we have is facilitate events such like this to create content sparkling enough to attract people like you and HeyUGuys to deem it worthwhile to come and cover it. And so thank you very much.
And of course, I mean, this year, I think in the debut screenwriter, there's more female nominees than there are male, and I think there's this really great representation of both genders this year. I mean, how important is it to you as well that we've got such a fair split in this year's nomination?
Well, we need to have filmmakers of all diversity, the D word. 39% of all the nominees this year were female. In that category, 60%, and that just shows too that in Britain, at least, we're not afraid to support you, a filmmaker, if you happen to be non-white male like me.
And have you noticed a shift in that over the, because you've been doing this for sort of a number of years now, have you noticed a shift just in recent years that it does feel like we are finally sort of making moves in the right direction? Yeah,
well, British films are known for being diverse. And if you went to New York or Chicago, Toronto, my hometown, or Los Angeles, and stood outside the art multiplex, 10, 12 films, there'll be 3 or 4 that are British. And the weird thing is, you can't really pigeonhole a British film as being a certain type. You used to with the Carry On films and the Hammer House of Horror, but now each film, because our filmmaking community is so diverse and so rich, each of those films you saw here today are very, very different from the others. It's kind of cool.
And just finally, of course, the event is still sort of a month or so away, but what is it you enjoy most about the whole night and the whole BIFA experience?
Oh, it's lovely seeing everyone come in and seeing the room, which always looks really glamorous. And of course, I enjoy that moment. But then I enjoy leaving the doors, closing behind me, and on the journey home, reflecting on what has just happened, because the people who come, and by that I mean not just the nominees, who are star-studded, as you just saw, but people like you, the journalists, everyone's so excited about this whole voyage of discovery, which again is what BIFA is all about.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching HeyUGuys!
HeyUGuys, huh?
HeyUGuys,
is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey!